All right, let's talk about luck. Today, we're diving into this incredible concept from writer and entrepreneur Kate Hall, and it's all about how you can stop just waiting around for good things to happen and start actually making them happen. So, let me ask you, do you see luck as this, random force, like lightning striking, something that's totally out of your hands? Well, we're going to flip that idea on its head and give you something way more powerful to work with. Okay, so let's get right to the heart of it with this quote. The real magic, according to Kate Hall, isn't that super successful people never fail. No way. It's that they just try more stuff, a lot more stuff. Think of it like a hockey game. It's the number of shots on goal that really counts, not your scoring percentage. It's all about volume. All right, first things first, we have to completely change how we think about luck. We're going to toss out that old passive way of thinking and bring in a much more proactive model. And I absolutely love this analogy she uses. Think of yourself as a gardener, right? You can't literally force a seed to sprout and grow. But what you can do is create the perfect environment for it. You give it the best soil, the right amount of sun, enough water. And that's exactly what we're talking about with luck. You're not forcing it. You're just setting up the conditions where it's almost guaranteed to show up. Okay, so if we're the gardeners, what's our garden? Well, that brings us to the big idea of this whole explainer. It's called the luck surface area. And trust me, it's this powerful new way of thinking that'll help you actively cultivate your own good fortune. And honestly, it's a really simple concept. Your luck surface area is basically just how much you're interacting with the world. Every time you talk to someone new, share a project, or just put yourself out there, you're making that surface area bigger. And a bigger surface area just means more chances for those lucky, happy accidents to happen. So this really breaks it down into two different paths you can take, right? There's the slow way, where you're kind of working in a silo, keeping your ideas to yourself, not really meeting new people. Your feedback loop is super long. And your luck surface area? It's tiny. But then there's the fast way. This is all about trying a ton of new things, constantly having new interactions, like 1 or 2 a day, and getting feedback super quick. The takeaway here is huge. The more you interact, the bigger your chances of, really taking off. All right, so how do we actually do this? Let's get practical. We're going to walk through 5 very specific strategies for what Kate Hall calls skilled luck cultivation. So here's what's on deck. Being curious, acting like you're always auditioning, giving first, embracing your inner weirdo online, and the superpower of hosting events. Let's jump into that first one. Okay, strategy 1. This sounds so simple, but it's actually incredibly powerful. Just operate from a place of genuine curiosity. Talk to people just because you want to know what they know, with no other agenda. People love talking about their passions. And think about it, the absolute latest info in any field, it's never written down yet. It's inside the brains of the people on the front lines. All right, number 2 is a total mindset hack. Assume you are always auditioning for a bigger role. Basically, act like the person you want to be, right now. It means you bring your A game to everything, even the small stuff. You treat it with such care that doing anything less would just feel, well, kind of embarrassing. And look, this isn't just some abstract idea. Kate Hall has a personal story that's just perfect. Back in late 2021, she did some unpaid legal research over the holidays, no less. Most of us would probably just get it done and move on, right? But she treated this small task like a huge audition, and the payoff was insane. That one little thing led to her being offered the lead on a major clinical trial, which then led to her co-founding a whole company. It just goes to show people are paying attention. They notice when you put in the effort. Okay, strategy 3, give before you take. This is all about building a high trust network. When you look at really successful people, they're not lone wolves. They're in the middle of this huge positive sum game with tons of other people. And the only way in is to be generous, to give first without expecting anything back right away. And being generous doesn't mean you have to be rich. It's about using what you already have. For example, your attention. Just putting your phone away and actually truly listening to someone. That's huge. Or your time. Helping someone out with a small task or meeting them where it's easy for them. And yeah, your resources. Like she says, you really can't go wrong buying someone lunch. Every little thing like this is like making a deposit in a trust bank. Over time, it adds up to something massive. I love this next one. Strategy 4, air your weirdness. Seriously, put your real thoughts out there online. Share what you're genuinely geeking out about, what you're mulling over. It doesn't have to be some polished essay. When you do this, it acts like a magnet, pulling in the people and the opportunities that are a perfect fit for the real you. And that brings us to our last strategy, number 5, host events. Look, almost everyone wants more social connection, but almost no one wants to be the one to organize it. So if you step up and become the host, you're filling this huge unmet need. It's a legitimate superpower for making your network stronger and more connected. And if you're thinking, okay, but hosting sounds like a lot of work, Hall has the ultimate secret weapon for you. The bagel brunch. I know, it sounds almost too simple, but it's brilliant. Why? Because it's cheap. It's super low stakes, and it happens on a weekend morning when people's schedules are usually open. It is the perfect, easy way to gather people and, you guessed it, expand that look surface area. Okay, so let's get real for a second. All of this sounds amazing, but I want to be honest. It's not going to be all smooth sailing from day one. We got to talk about the awkward phase. And Kate Hall is super upfront about this. She says at first, you're going to feel like you're, and this is a quote, socially flailing and trying too hard. And that's okay. You'll be sending some awkward cold emails, having some weird meetings. You might feel like you don't belong. That's not you failing. That's just part of the deal. It's a totally normal and temporary part of the process. So, after you've put in all this work, you've been curious, you've been auditioning, you've been generous, you've even pushed through the awkwardness, what's the reward? Well, this is the best part, the unpredictable payoff. This quote from her just says it all. The point of all this isn't to get one specific job or meet one specific person. The real magic is that you have no idea what amazing things will happen. It's totally unpredictable in the best possible way. When you start creating the conditions for luck, you're literally opening the door to a life that's richer and way more interesting than anything you could have ever mapped out for yourself. So I'll leave you with this. A question for you to take away. What's one tiny experiment you can run just this week to start growing your own luck surface area? Maybe it's as simple as sending that one email you've been putting off, or just asking someone you find interesting to grab a coffee. Remember, it all starts with one shot on goal. So, what's yours going to be?